What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Think About It, and today's discussion is the Surface Pro 3 tablet. And I'm putting this video together because a lot of people are out there are comparing this tablet, comparing the Surface Pro 3 to an iPad. Now, this is an article on Forbes, 3 reasons the Surface Pro 3 is struggling, dated August 11th, 2014. But I don't want to talk about the reasons it's struggling. The reason I liked this article is it kind of talks about what we mentioned in this video, and that is right here. This paragraph down here, right here, is what interests me, and this is spot on, which is why I wanted to make this video. People out there, I'm hearing already these days, Surface Pro 3 versus an iPad. Is it going to do stuff that my iPad does? Why doesn't the iPad do what my Surface Pro 3 does, etc., etc.? Well, this individual who wrote this article is a huge Windows fan. In fact, he goes on in the previous paragraphs to actually talk about it, where he says, again, I'm a fan, right? And that's the second time he's mentioning it. He also mentions it above. Let's start with Microsoft. I'm a fan. So this is not again, from my perspective, I'm showing this article because, he's not purposely dinging Microsoft or anything. And in fact, he goes on to do a good comparison with the MacBook. But again, coming back to the point of the video, Surface Pro 3 versus an iPad. Now, to me, ever since I heard that comparison from people, it just did not make sense. So look what it says. To sort of discuss this topic, he says, so most people don't compare the price of the Surface Pro 3 to a MacBook Air. They compare it to an iPad, and that makes the price of the Microsoft tablet seem insane. And I think that is true, not just from a feature set perspective, but also from a price point perspective. You cannot look at a Surface Pro 3 as just a tablet. Now, granted, it has tablet functionality, or tablet type of functionality, but you cannot compare it that way because Microsoft is not trying to sell Surface Pro 3s as an iPad replacement. In fact, their sales pitch is that this is like a replacement for your laptop, a tablet that replaces, I can't remember the exact buzzwords, but he kind of talks about it up in the previous paragraphs and stuff like that. The tablet right there is the tablet that replaces your laptop. So but again, coming back to this paragraph down below, iPad and a Surface Pro 3 comparison just does not make sense to me. And I was glad to read this article, and I wanted to make the video to have all of you think about this, because that comparison just does not. It's just apples and oranges in my opinion, because an iPad is not a laptop replacement device. A Surface Pro 3 is being sold as a laptop replacement device. So if you're doing price comparisons between the two, no. If you are trying to do a feature set comparison, well, guess what? That's still a big no, because one is again a pure tablet experience, meaning an iPad, versus the other is trying to be the best of both worlds. And of course, one's running a full operating system, the other one is not. So again, I kind of see this all the time. People start this dialogue about Surface Pro 3 versus an iPad, and I've heard people, take home the Surface Pro 3, didn't like it because, it as a tablet device, it wasn't for them. Some people have said the same thing for an iPad. They take the iPad home and they're like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't have a full operating system, etc., etc. Long story short, it's not a fair comparison. So a Surface Pro 3 to a MacBook Air, spot on, absolutely. Maybe a Surface Pro, RT, those RT versions that Microsoft made that were not full operating systems, but were running on Atom processors and everything else. Those type of comparisons are valid, because RT was not a full up operating system. It was sort of this closed wall garden from Microsoft. Kind of like what iOS is, in a way, or current iPad is. It does, it just does allow you to download apps from the App Store. That's what RT did. RT allowed you to download apps from the Windows Store. No third-party app installation. Anyways, please keep that in mind. And I just wanted folks to think about that. I think comparing a Surface Pro 3 to an iPad is not a good comparison. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe and please hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.